Okay, Ramadan 2026 has come to an end. This is like my 40th take of trying to record anything, but I'm going to try and summarize things a little bit better than I have in my previous takes after some practice. So I wrote down some notes and things I really wanted to address. Physically, the fast has been really cool. I'm always surprised year after year on how much I can actually do and physically, and how much I can push my body without eating or drinking water after a certain point in the day. Um, I feel like every year I've just gotten better at it, and I'm starting to see kind of what my coach would say about it, of calling them Ramadan superpowers, or just feeling like I'm in a great relationship with my body, from my diet and from the intervals of fasting themselves, and just overall, I feel better than I do a lot of times throughout the year. My main reason for taking up this fast in the first place a few years ago was the spiritual side of things. I value those kind of practices and things I can do to help me grow in my own being. And this was something that was catching my eye for a while. And so I figured I'd pick it up. After coming back into my meditations and my breath work very consistently throughout this fast, I found a lot of things starting to stick out and have more awareness of that I might not have been as clear about before. The first thing I really started to notice was feeling very reactive and ungrounded. Over the last few months in general, I've had waves of stress and anxiety, and just kind of getting very attached and overwhelmed by situations happening to me, and internally making it a lot more stressful and consumed in these things than I needed to be. I was having a hard time letting go and being detached from a lot of this, and I've watched this build up to where it was leaking out in very normal situations, to where I was making a mountain out of a molehill, essentially. So for the first part of this fast, it's been kind of regulating my nervous system with breath work, slowing down my mind, and releasing tension where I noticed I had started kind of building up in my meditations, and just trying to be more still, trying to be more present and aware of a lot of these things. Around this time, because of the awareness I was getting from my reactions and feeling very ungrounded, I started noticing other things that were creeping up that might have been lingering a lot longer than I originally thought. What was getting shown to me was feeling like if things weren't perfect or ideal, whether it was with me or my situation, I found a lot of kind of cracks in my armor, or a lot of things being exposed to me of where I was, I guess, weak at, or just had things I needed to address, essentially. A lot of those things being insecurities, fears of the unknown, and if I wasn't not feeling too secure in myself, if I wasn't validated by external situations or people or my efforts, essentially. And I was noticing this starting to project and leak out into my interactions with people and how I would behave myself, starting to get a lot more attached, and wanting that validation through situations, more than finding it within myself and being kind of indifferent or accepting of whatever I got from situations. And it prevents me from being as genuine of a person, I feel like, because I'm quick to react. I'm quick to be more impulsive, or kind of have a way of being that feels more restrictive ultimately. Along with fears and insecurities, I've realized that my body keeps score a lot more than I would think, and that my mind and my unconscious store these things and hold on to experiences that have really impacted me a lot more than I've realized, and have an effect on me because of that. Whether it be past traumas from my brain surgery, or just very heavy emotional baggage or scarring from past experiences that has lingered in my life, in and out, to where it influences how I react or work with people, how I handle myself, and how I look at myself for a lot of these things. And that's led me to shine some light on that, fortunately, and I'm looking to become more aware of those things going forward, to where I can heal and allow myself better understanding and put myself in a better situation to heal with those things. In the meantime, though, a big takeaway, and probably my biggest general takeaway from this fast, has been being present and surrendering to the present moment, surrendering to God, however you want to word it. Because a lot of this anxiety that I've had over the last few months, and a lot of these fears that have popped up, and just kind of a lot of things coming to the surface that I didn't realize were there. It's been a lot more challenging to be present than I thought it was, or than I thought I was being. And like I talked about with kind of the cracks in my armor or my character and stuff, it seems like behind the mask, if I'm not, perfect or doing things very well, I see where I find rejection, resistance, and um, unacceptance of myself and parts of myself. As Carl Jung would say, the shadow. And this has been very humbling for me because some of these things are things I thought that I had kind of conquered before and wasn't dealing with still. And I realized I might have made progress in some of them, or I might have just become aware of them, but I hadn't quite dealt with them the same. And some of these things aren't things that I can necessarily get rid of. They're a constant practice moment to moment of accepting and acknowledging these things, but not letting them consume me or become attached to them. But this is ultimately important, though, because without acceptance of all of myself and all the different parts of myself, it ultimately affects and interferes with how I work with myself and work with other people, how I basically respond to life, essentially, because the external is a reflection of the internal. And there have been some days in this fast where I feel like I've made really good progress or felt like I've hit highs of surrendering, letting go, and making some big strides in these directions and growth. And there's other days I'm reminded that it's an ongoing thing. And that's a part of the journey and the process. But overall, I've been very grateful for this time. And I'm very grateful that it feels like I've done some spring cleaning for my consciousness, for my psyche, for my soul, whatever. And that's been good overall. I think I started the fast this year, finishing a book by Alan Watts. And since that time, I finished another book, and I'm about to finish 2 more that I've been reading at the same time. And that's very impressive for me to, one, read a book in that such short of amount of a time, and to read 3 books in almost a month is very impressive to me. Never have I done something like that before, and I'm very grateful for the wisdom I've gained from these books, as well as reading a fiction book for the first time in a long time to kind of freshen up and not have everything I read be so serious. So overall, this has been a very fun year for me, and I'm very grateful for this year. I'm very grateful for my health during this time. I'm very grateful for the awareness I've been able to invite and how I've been able to use that to become aware of different parts of myself that I might not have been before. I find that I can be nervous going into the fast every year because I'm getting out of my comfort zone of my normal routines, my schedules, giving up things for the month and making sacrifices and kind of just being a lot more disciplined for a time frame. But I always find it very rewarding and always worth it. And this is like a good way to start the year, a good way to start the spring equinox, and just kind of have this momentum carry throughout the year going forward. I think this was my best take, honestly. So hopefully this is the last one I have to do, and hopefully someone can take something away from this. But if anything, I was just glad I was able to share this and articulate myself. Here's to another year of a great fast.